All right, so let's talk more now about just how Facebook came across this new political influence campaign with KTVU tech expert Ryan Eldridge of Nerds on Call. And Ryan, Facebook has been under heavy pressure to find ways to stop this kind of activity, and looks like it has.
Yeah, you know, the interesting thing about today's news is it sounds like Facebook just today was like, oh my gosh, look at this. Let's unveil these terrible accounts. But in fact, these accounts have been around for a while. They've even mentioned that of the 32 accounts, there were 30 different events that were programmed from the accounts, and one of them dated all the way back to May of 2017. So that tells me these accounts have been around for a while. And of the 32 accounts, more than 290,000 people or other accounts have followed at least one of those pages. So that tells me that it's kind of deep into Facebook, and Facebook is slowly uncovering them and trying to delete the accounts that they're seeing is showing inauthentic behavior.
Yeah,
so they don't act like real people.
Yeah, this was, 30-something accounts and pages. I think most people would suspect there are many more out there. But talk with us about why this is so difficult to stop.
Well, it's because really the way that the internet is set up is it's set up for anonymity. I mean, you can create a profile anywhere saying you're anybody who you want to be with whatever name you want, and nothing can really stop Facebook from people creating new accounts. I mean, that's sort of what they want. They just took a huge dive because they had slow user growth just last week. So anybody can create an account, and what these companies are doing, or these bad actors are doing, is they're creating accounts using IP addresses, using virtual private networks, which is hiding their location. It's essentially sending information from one server to another, to another, to another, so Facebook can't determine, well, is this in Russia, or is this in Ecuador, or is this in Maine? They really just don't know.
Yeah, and that's what Facebook was sort of saying, is that while this is similar to the type of activity that we saw leading up to the presidential election, those that were behind this new campaign sort of changed their ways, their tactics a little bit, so that they were less traceable.
Yeah, one of the things that I found really interesting is that while there were all of these accounts, they essentially ran 150 different ads for around $11,000. But what they were doing was using left-leaning issues in order to create, like, anger and resentment. So there's a protest happening in Washington, D.C. next week called Unite the Right, where a bunch of Republicans and right-leaning people are coming in and having kind of a protest saying, hey, let's unite before the elections. Well, what these accounts have been doing is saying, hey, let's create a Don't Unite the Right campaign and do a counter-protest at the same time. And whereas President Trump has been saying that the Russians have been helping the Democrats, when you look at all of the stuff that Facebook released today and the ads that they released, the several dozen ads they showed, they were all left-leaning issues, which I thought was kind of interesting. And it's almost like they're sowing discontent among two different sets and kind of creating upheaval rather than for one particular political gain, like elect a specific group.
Yeah, and it seems like, and when you're talking about that protest, some real legitimate organizations have then said that they're going to show up at this protest that was really created by a fake account. Ryan Eldridge, always a pleasure. Appreciate you coming on. Thanks so much.
You're welcome.